So my name is Bailey Dick, and I am a PhD student in the School of Journalism. So I took the trip for the first time 3 years ago because I was asked to help and be a TA, and I really wanted to take the trip because I also study history. I'm a historian, and I wanted to learn more about the history of the civil rights movement because I knew I hadn't learned a lot about it in school, and because I think it's really important for journalism students to know history because they can learn how things from the past are created to things like now. So how the history of the civil rights movement and the history of white supremacy in the United States is connected to the white supremacy that we still see in the country today. And I think people need to learn how to cover that better. One thing I'm always surprised by is how much the students love and care for each other on the trip, and how even when journalism school can seem so competitive and so like people are pitted against each other for like scholarships or internships or jobs, that this is a space where students can really come together and support each other and lift each other up and be there for each other when they're going through stuff. The first was going to the lynching memorial in Montgomery. It was really incredible because it was something we had heard about 2 years ago when we went to the Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery. And so we've been hearing about this museum and this memorial being planned for 2 years, and we finally got to go to it this year. And it's one of those like really eerie places where kind of like the hair on the back of your neck stands up and you know it's like a really meaningful, important place and like a very like emotional experience. So that was one. And the other is meeting with Doria Martin, who works at Hope Academy in Selma, Alabama. And she's someone who is just 2 years older than I am, and she 2 years ago when we went for the first time was really struggling with like what to do for her community and what to do for the young people of color who were like facing these really incredible barriers. And she decided that she was just gonna buy a school and start a program, and it's really just the power of seeing how much can be done in a pretty short amount of time and by someone who's like my peer, and that you're capable of doing really big, difficult things to make people's lives better really directly. Why shouldn't they take this trip in the future? I don't know, I believe that like for journalists and journalists in training and future communicators, it's really important that you go to a place instead of just learning about a place in a textbook, or go interact with people directly who maybe are different from you, and even people who share your experience. So if you're a white student and you've never been in a community of color, I think it's really important to go see that people are people no matter where you're at or what your skin color is. And also for students of color to see that there are people like them who are doing really incredible work despite the barriers of white supremacy and institutional racism, that there are people who have the same backgrounds as they do, that they can go do really world-changing stuff.